Heyo, bad boys. Welcome back to Normies Like Us, the podcast that reminds you it's hip to be square. Tonight, we're coming to you live from a cabin at Camp Crystal Lake. Lucky enough to get a pretty good discount on an Airbnb here. It's pretty cheap. I don't know why. It's beautiful. The lake's here. We got some marshmallows, gonna do some s'mores, and I don't know what that was. Well, anyway, let's dive in. Today we're here to talk all about Jason and Friday the 13th.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or you want to smoke some pot?
Jason should have been watched, and today is his birthday.
Hey, wasn't that the road up for Camp Crystal Lake back there?
They were making love while that young boy drowned.
What's this? No!
Here we are, bad boys, talk all about one of the biggest horror franchises of all time, Friday the 13th. We're your hosts. I'm Joe.
This is Colin the 13th.
And this is just King Mike the 13th.
Yeah, none of that works.
It's fine, though. But what does work is a good machete, sometimes a sleeping bag, whenever
A
you need to
hockey
get the job
mask,
done.
or
That's
maybe
right.
a
Really,
bag.
whatever you can find around. I mean, Jason is the king of creative kills.
That is 100% true. All the improv murder.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little later. So many people give Michael Myers shit for being able to drive, even though he grew up in an insane asylum. Jason was a kid who technically lived under a swamp, like after he died, and somehow he jumps up and he knows how to operate weed whackers, very intense machinery.
The MacGyver of murder. I mean, he can
That's a
do
great way to put it.
everything.
That's a great way to put it, Joe.
So I'm excited to talk about this franchise with you guys. It was definitely a Halloween staple of mine growing up. Definitely marathoning through all of these. Before we dive in, what's your relationship with the franchise?
Colin?
I'm a big fan. I love Friday the 13th. I don't think I've ever watched a Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th. I don't think I've ever been scared by the day Friday the 13th. That's never really brought that terror over to me. But I'm scared of Jason.
Yeah, I mean, watch these, spooky Halloween sleepovers, stuff like that. Jason Voorhees, obviously, cultural icon. And weirdly didn't even become iconic until like the third movie, like the look that we know. But yeah, I mean, it's well known. And I mean, him, Freddy, Mike Myers, that's the big three, right?
That's the big
That's
three.
the triumvirate of horror icons. So how can you not like it? Creative kills. If you like the slasher over the top gore fest, that's what it's about.
So tomorrow is Halloween itself. Have you guys had a good celebration month? Anything that you did special? Anything that you're looking to get done tomorrow on All Hallows Eve?
I stuck to watching my horror films every night. I'm very proud about that. Logged one each night.
Really? What ones have you watched so far?
Some pretty good ones. Joe, I watched the My Bloody Valentine 3D remake. Have you ever seen
shit.
that?
Yeah, with Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, so you recommended, and we talked about it on the Normie overarching episode, that there's a couple of these supernatural guys, House of Wax, stuff like that. Jensen Ackles in this film, this was the first time I've ever seen this. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you care about the My Bloody Valentine remake from the 90s. He's the bad guy at the end, but the premise is that he's insane, so he thought he was chasing the bad guy, and then he says, look, there he is, and everybody's like, it's you.
Oh, wow.
No, man, you're the
kind
killer.
of, I don't know. It was very interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I've watched the original Dawn of the Dead classic and The Thing.
Ooh.
Classics.
You get a little body horror and some talcum powder zombies in them all.
We've talked a lot, George Romero. I also have been watching some zombie movies. Here's the split, Mike, and I'm curious where you fall on this, Joe. There was a lawsuit after Night of the Living Dead that caused George Romero's partner to split the license down the middle. As you'll notice, as you just said, the continuing George Romero films are Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, stuff like that. The Living Dead part falls off there. Return of the Living Dead is the film franchise that this man continued. I've watched one of those and just found out that I'd never seen it before. The one that I thought I had was the sequel. So have you guys ever done that before where you saw number 2 first?
I think I've done that before, but the Living Dead franchise are a lot more like punk rock.
Yeah.
Than the,
Yeah, Return of the Living
grimy.
Dead is very punk rock, motorcycle, rock and roll brains.
It's a gas that turns you into a zombie, and even then, you're not really a zombie. It's just kind of how you died. You are that. You know, you're not a walking around ghoul.
No, not in the same way that the classic Romero zombies are.
Yeah,
you know.
I think I fall closer to the Romero. Right? Do you guys? I'm a bigger fan of that.
I'm a Romero truther.
yeah, I mean, that's, you know, to me, like the actual zombie. Everything else, like you have like Night of the Creeps, the Rage zombies of like 28 Days Later. Those are all fine. They have their place. But to me, zombies will always be, you know, George A. Romero's
Oh, it's not
creation.
like Cell, like we talked about in our last episode. Check that out, Normies.
Yeah, right.
No, not for me.
We are the Walking Dead. Like on Facebook if you agree. But yeah, Joe, did we get what's your Halloween festivities?
Oh, it's been great. You know, I told you guys all about Zach Baggins and his
Yeah.
haunted mansion. Did the haunted hayride.
Carve some pumpkins.
Carved some pumpkins. Saw some classics. Hocus Pocus. Gotta always give it up to
yeah.
those.
Gotta give it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good season. It always comes and goes so fast is my issue.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's my favorite time of year, and I feel like you blink it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Any costumes? You know, what do you guys got
No,
planned?
I hit
on?
the same problem every year. Joe says it moves fast. This day hits me. Guys, it's tomorrow. What are you going as? I have no idea.
An unprepared mess of a 30-year-old man.
I mean, I've said before, to anybody who just wears like a white t-shirt and writes sexy costume on it, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing Ferris Bueller because I mentioned before
All
I watched
right,
that
yeah.
recently. I got
Yeah.
a very similar vest. You just
Yeah.
get a white T-shirt. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were maybe even going to say a Detroit Red Wings jersey, go as Cameron.
Yeah, you got the Gordie Howe jersey as Cameron. That's true. Yeah.
I've got a couple just hanging up in my closet that are always ready to go. You know, like I got an Indy, a Han Solo.
Yeah, everybody has those. Just an Indiana Jones
Just
outfit
ready to go.
in your closet.
I feel like I'll probably end up doing my classic Spider-Man Peter Parker.
Nice. I did Mad Max last year, but I didn't keep the jacket that I made. It was an oversight.
Why didn't you keep that, man? That was so cool.
I don't know. I should have kept it. I can find a photo of it for the normies out
Yeah,
there.
post it up.
This week we'll have to post some of our best Halloween costumes from the ages.
From childhood to now, that'd
Yeah.
be great. You know, another thing I did Casey Jones for 2 years ago, and he wears a hockey mask, much like Jason. So
Great segue, my
Yeah.
friend. Why don't we jump in? Let's talk about the movies in the Friday the 13th universe.
So, Friday the 13th, a franchise based on the killer Jason, who wasn't even introduced until the third movie. Let's dive right in here, guys. What is your history with Jason and Friday the 13th? What about him is niche to normie?
Well, my vote, this is Mike here, for the niche would be the first Friday the 13th movie because it's so associated with Jason Voorhees himself. He shows up in the second movie, but he's wearing a bag on his head. He doesn't get the hockey mask until the third movie. And, you know, that's when he became iconic. So the fact that it was Jason's mother doing all the killing in the original is something that maybe not a lot of people know.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Mike, you don't think everybody knows that line from Wes Craven's Scream about Drew Barrymore messing that fact up now?
Maybe. I mean, I don't even remember that line. So
See, I think that's one of the things that is, it was niche, and it's become so normie because it's the joke of like,
It's
no,
the
no,
pop
no,
culture
it wasn't.
thing now, yeah.
You know, it's the new Frankenstein was not the name of the monster.
Oh, God, yeah. But actually, it's that.
To me, the niche is what is Jason? Like, is he a zombie? Is that what you guys would clarify him as? Or is he a slasher?
Or a demonic entity who
Yeah.
can come from the depths of hell to seek vengeance.
Yep. In Jason Goes to Hell, unfortunately, he becomes what we're always scared of, spooky snakes and spiders again.
Yeah,
This is something that just resurrects monsters.
Boogie Oogie.
Yeah.
To me, Jason's kind of a tragic figure, almost sympathetic to a degree. He's got an overbearing mother, much like Carrie, who we talked about in the last episode with Stephen King. And, you know, she's overprotective, and then he drowns, and then, you know, a traumatic death, obviously. And then kind of his mother's thirst for revenge, and then his spirit comes back or whatever it is. And then he's compulsed to do murders because that's what his mother wanted. It's almost psycho, like the overbearing mother figure, influencing the actions of their children,
A classic trope of the horror genre.
Yeah.
His spirit comes back or whatever. I'm totally on board there with you.
What is
Pamela Voorhees, the enemy of the first film, years go by. 2 years she gets revenge after the death of Counselor's negligence, not watching Jason. He drowns in that swamp. Mike, you're not thinking of the last shot of that first film. After she is disposed and they get away, who jumps out of the water to pull them back in? That's our first shot of Jason, and we see him with his weird frog face.
Yeah, he is
right.
the mutated monster. I mean,
At that point, what is he? Like, as an audience member, when you're watching that and you're thinking, there he is, the spirit did return, or are you thinking they were in on it together? Did she not realize that her son had returned? Is this a hillbilly revenge story?
Yeah, it's like a weird mix of all this stuff. It's hard to tell. I mean, Joe, what's your take on
well,
it?
it's such a classic stinger. I mean, that scene is...
It's like the stinger.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
like that stuff didn't really exist. Like that type of cliffhanger before
Holy shit.
we got Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I mean, they've admitted that it's kind of a ripoff of Halloween. I mean, that was the big thing.
Halloween, the babysitting murders, all those typical
Sleepaway.
camps, sleepaway camp, the classic slashers of that era. Yeah, they're absolutely grabbing onto. They're doing it because it's a low budget. They have the camp. It's not shot in Hollywood. This is a film that they end up bringing to Hollywood to get financing to release it, but it still stars a young Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it's true. That's what I loved about kind of this era, like the late 70s time. You have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like things were low budget, but like high concept. Like I don't know. It's just there was so many iconic horror villains came out of this. I mean, Freddy, Leatherface, Jason, Mike Myers.
Leatherface was not one of my boys, though.
I
gotta say,
I am-
Pinhead and
You're a
Leatherface.
big Leatherface.
I ride higher on
Really?
Leatherface than Freddy or Jason.
I didn't know this till
That's
the pod.
crazy. I do not think of him as the Trinity to me is Freddy, Jason, and Michael.
I
And
think
then-
Michael's more boring to me.
Oh,
He's the least of the three.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
His backstory is as confusing as everyone else's. But Mike, I would say to the big three Joe just said,
Yeah.
you have Pinhead, Chucky, and Leatherface knocking on that door, looking through a window, trying to get into this party.
Yeah, that would be like your Sinister Six.
there they are.
They're around there, but yeah, I guess I wouldn't slot Leatherface into the top three by any means. But you're getting all these iconic characters in this low budget. Like we're gonna shoot the thing in Texas and pitch it to some studios. This one they're shooting at the camp. It's affordable and it's iconic, but the legacy is coming from that stinger. Really, that stinger is the beginning of. All right, here's Jason.
That
here's
launches
Sid.
a universe. And beyond that,
Yep.
it brings them back for a part 2. How many film series go up to a part 7, part 8, part 9, up until Jason X, where they shatter that out?
Yeah. Well, Jason X was the 10th movie, right?
Yep.
Does anyone have, so we have 12 Friday the 13th films. We think the 13th one is, I anticipate on a delay.
I've got some good news right now, actually, as of today. There's an ongoing legal battle with one of the original writers who's sort of like a James Bond situation. I don't know if you guys know anything about the way that all worked out, where at a point some people owned the name Blofeld, the inspector, the enemies of James Bond, but not James Bond himself, and they came to agreements and deals. That's happening in the Friday the 13th universe. Somebody owns Jason, they don't own Friday the 13th.
It's like Spider-Man and Venom.
It's been a long time coming, but I think we're finally going to get it in the next couple of years.
I think we're about a year away from some news on the 13th or Friday the 13th again. I don't know what
You
they
could
would
get
call
Ice
it.
Cube and do next Friday the 13th or the final Friday the 13th. I would hope that they would just wait to actually release it on Friday the 13th October, whether that's
Yeah.
in 6 years. I don't know what the cycle is,
It's pretty far off.
Because it's
I mean,
Saturday
it is
the
Saturday
13th. As of,
13th.
yeah. This month was Saturday. So anyway, I like Jason X because he was in space. If I just want to mention my favorite one,
Well, if you're mentioning your favorite, maybe we just jump right into tops or bottoms
All right.
here.
let's
That's
just do that
belongs
because
to
we have
Jason.
12 of them, right? So that'll be my top. Jason X, just because it has the nitro, the liquid nitrogen.
The liquid nitrogen face freeze.
Yeah, smash into the table. That's a classic. It's just so
The
absurd.
robots, the fact that it's kind of pulled out of the continuity. Well, you just said
Yeah.
absurd. Mike, do you like your Friday the 13th goofy or scary?
this might also lead into why I like Leatherface. I like when the slashers become the hero because you just want to see them do over the top kills. And like we said, Jason is the master of, creative kills. So when it gets to that where it's just more about Jason doing ridiculous things.
Bow and arrows.
I mean, the sleeping bag, right? Let's get that, right?
Yeah.
Classic stuff. So Space was just like, let's just go crazy.
And the sleeping bag kill, I mean, that's referenced in the remake too, right?
Yeah. In the remake, they have that.
Yeah, that itself is a remake of the kill in Part 3 3D, where it was, of course, a gimmick, but that kill in the remake. If I can just go ahead, I know you didn't say your bottom. My top is Friday the 13th, the remake.
Wow.
It is a phenomenal remake.
It's a phenomenal film. It's a Platinum Dunes, as we've mentioned before. This is Michael Bay's production company. He bought up the rights to a lot of these horror properties. That's kind of what Platinum Dunes was created for, to reboot these franchises. It perfectly encapsulates the franchise. You have an opening scene that pays credit to Pamela Voorhees.
Yep.
I mean,
with her direct voiceover, same actress.
Yeah.
Pulled right from the film.
Exactly. You get young Jason. You get all the setup for that. You're getting the build-up of that entire franchise and such a payoff that, why would you need to watch any of the others, in my opinion?
I mean, you even get Baghead Jason referenced before he gets the hockey mask.
That's
I mean, it
true.
walks you through the entire franchise.
No, that's very well done too.
And another one of the Supernatural boys.
That's right. That's right.
That's Jared Padalecki's turn as well,
Yeah,
and our favorite from Flash as well, the Caitlin Snow character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reboot remake was super dope. I think we should talk about what is cool about Jason. We're talking about the big three, right? We mentioned that he's like the most creative kid, but why is he so fucking cool? Like, more. We should expand on that because he deserves more.
Can we get your tops first, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love, and it's not the best movie, but it has...
Do that, and then I'll repitch the thing because I didn't want to.
Oh, good idea.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'll edit. I'll put that note.
So, Colin, you just threw me with tops or bottoms.
Joe, how about your tops?
It's not the best movie, but it has some of my favorite moments from the franchise. Jason Takes Manhattan.
No, that is the worst.
It
That
is
is my bottom.
That's so campy, though. That's why it's fun.
It's a terrible movie overall.
Yeah.
This is why we like Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. But it has Jason uppercutting someone's head off, which is great.
That is a cool
Off of a building, right?
Yep.
That goes off.
Yeah, he's like boxing a dude and literally uppercuts his head off. And like one of my favorite gifs / moments that I post all the time of him walking past a couple punks in Manhattan and just kicking their boombox.
Oh, yeah.
And they're being like, hey, we're going to kill you or whatever. And he just takes off his mask and shows him his face.
And you don't see it.
No, we don't. As the
and I
audience
feel like
does not
that's
see
the
it.
first
Yeah.
movie where they were like, okay, we get it. We understand the camp that people are really watching these.
And
So
that's
many
Kane
fans.
Hodder.
I don't know. No, that's
Kane Hodder as Jason.
Kane Hodder appeared before that as his first appearance in The
4.
New Blood, exactly,
Yeah.
from on. And he was kind of the first guy to give physicality
and a character.
some personality.
And like kicking
Exactly.
the jukebox. Like Jason has music taste.
Yeah, he's like, not this.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not the best movie. They don't even hit Manhattan until like the last 5 minutes of it, which is hilarious.
And he's
'cause
just
it's
on a
called,
boat.
Yeah, it's called Jason Takes Manhattan. It's 90% on a fucking boat.
Jason on a Carnival Cruise Line.
Yeah, it reminds you of your high school graduation trip.
Exactly.
Where,
exactly like that.
A man in a hockey mask got on board.
Yeah, and I boxed him on a rooftop and he uppercutted my head off.
I thought you meant I only spent a very short amount of time in New York at only the tourist destinations.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes of that film takes place in Manhattan.
That's when he
guys, we
finally
should
takes
say.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
I mean, it really should be called like Jason's getting ready to take Manhattan.
And does that mean
Yeah.
something? Because the Muppets also took Manhattan.
Was he the first one to take
Maybe
Manhattan?
that's why I like it, because it just reminds me of the Muppets.
I don't know, Mike.
And I remember like the first time like in college we had a party where we marathoned all of these. We watched all of them in one night, and by that point like had a solid buzz going, was feeling great. And you're waiting the whole time. You're like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna take Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he finally gets there in
Yeah.
like the last 5 minutes.
So you're saying in college that we kind of marathoned these. That was my first opportunity to watch a lot of these. And I'll just go through the list here. Guys, hit me with a seen it, not seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen every one of them.
I've not seen
I
all
will
of them.
refrain.
So I'll hit some of these.
All right, how about Friday the 13th, the original?
Seen it.
Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Yep.
This is Jason. This is the bag head.
Yeah,
He
Jason.
doesn't have the mask
He's got
on
the
yet.
pickaxe, yeah.
Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D.
This was the first hockey mask. It's got the bow and arrow kill.
That's
all
the
that
best
kind of
gimmick.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
That's probably one of the best kills in the franchise.
Yeah, the bow and arrow kill's tight.
I watched the documentary, the Camp Crystal Lake Chronicles, an incredible documentary. I believe 7 parts. I believe it's 5 hours long.
That's
over
right.
this entire franchise. They go into detail about how they did that effect, and it's. I mean, you can't get away shooting arrows at kids anymore, guys. You know, it was pure '80s schlock.
And is this the one with Tom Savini took over the
Tom Savini
makeup
took
effects?
over originally in number 2, actually.
Number 2,
Yeah.
which
So he was creating the design of Jason originally.
yeah, he's a horror icon. We talked about him a little bit on the Resident Evil episode as the zombie makeup guy for Romero, and he's back here creating some of the most iconic horror kill scenes ever.
Then we move on to Friday the 13th for the final chapter.
And now, is this the one where Jason is like his spirit takes other people? I'm getting
No, that's Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
okay. That
Where
one
he starts possessing people.
Yeah, and it's a tie for my least favorite between 4 and Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, I have not seen 4 or.
This
Goes
is
to
where he
Hell.
goes up against a bunch of bikers.
No, I did not see this. That sounds right up my alley, though.
It does not pay off as cool as you would think. Then
Punko?
we jump on to Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
This is Corey Feldman, right?
This is where Corey Feldman's introduced.
True.
All right. And Stephen King episode, Corey Feldman and Stand By Me. Huge through lines. Also Ninja Turtles, another episode. Go back and check it out. Corey
Hell
Feldman's a big
yeah.
part of a lot of what we talk
Of
about
all
here.
80s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately. Poor guy. This is probably, other than Manhattan, the most poorly received. This one does not feature Jason as the villain. It also does not take place at Camp Crystal Lake. It's Camp Greenwood, I believe. And it's a copycat killer who at the end was just posing as.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment too much. But like once we establish Jason, people want to see Jason. Right?
Yeah, that's what they're
absolutely.
here for.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The turn you take when the villain becomes the main character in these horror franchises. Like, how are you going to make a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man?
Yeah, well, and the turn is usually the Part 2. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mike, it's funny that you say that. I wonder if the name of the sequel here is a result of that. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, do you think
Yeah.
they were putting the Jason in the title? This is the first time that's appeared there to say, we apologize.
Yeah,
He
Our
is
bad.
back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Final chapter, new beginning. Oh no, Jason, he's alive. Please.
Which is, I think of those
I've
3
seen that one.
titles in a row. Final chapter. This is it, boys. We're done.
So this is kind of the point from onward for me where I really do actually love these films a lot. This is the first supernatural film. This is the first time he's ever brought back from the dead. Believe it or not, guys, the coup de grace, the kill shot at the end of every one of these films is canon. Technically, the Friday the 13th universe, those first 5 films, all take place over a matter of days. It's Jason gets back up after he gets shot in the head. He gets a machete to the face. He keeps moving. We have no idea why. But by this point, he's dead. Jason Lives, Part 6. A lightning bolt hits his grave and
Right.
brings him back from the
He
dead.
climbs out that bitch.
Why not?
So
It's
what do we
Frankenstein.
like? Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. He's the monster now.
Now he is, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, I know they try to make a whole bunch of mythology too, and I don't know. He's the unstoppable force. That's it. He's vengeance incarnate. Whether you deserve it or not, he doesn't care. He puts his sights on you, and he's going to come for you.
Well, and do you deserve it at all? I mean, like, the
Right.
thematics of, like,
Pamela.
horny teenagers get it. Like, that is...
Right.
If you are skinny dipping, having sex, doing illegal drugs...
And this
but
kind of
I
set up
would
those
argue-
tropes.
I would argue, though, by Part 2, guys, before we even get that Jason sort of stuff, the first film, you're totally right. We've got the anti-drugs, anti-sex. Part 2, we have kids in wheelchairs who are our protagonists. A guy in a wheelchair who's a good guy. We see them get killed.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre did it for.
I like when you care about the protagonist, opposed to now, and in the reboot, it goes a little too close to this for me. There's the guy who's just the scumbag who smokes weed, who you're just waiting to watch him die.
And they're
the
just
entire
written as
time.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
He has a line...
You call it the first target.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
a line in, that character in the remake has a line where he's like having sex with a woman, or I guess a girl, I guess they're teenagers. And he's like, you got perfect nipple placement, baby. It's like,
Oh,
that's
okay,
right, he had
this
that
guy's
line.
gonna die.
Yeah.
You don't talk about nipple placement in a Jason Voorhees movie and survive.
Yeah, Jason is watching for a window, clocking that, writing that down in his notepad.
Like, I know we're getting a little bit out of it, but the remake also has a shot where like the camera just zooms and Jason is standing on top of a roof like he's fucking Batman. That's
pretty badass.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like,
how
oh,
great
okay, there
Jason
he
is, though. That's funny.
So
All right.
the Supernatural continues, the sequel to this, Part 7, The New Blood.
New Blood I haven't seen.
Haven't seen, Joe? Big
Yeah,
fan.
I've seen that one.
So
Seen all of
this
them.
is Jason versus Carrie was the pitch.
That's okay. I've heard about this.
Throwback to our Stephen King episode.
Right.
They wanted to do Freddy at first. New Line
They should
and
do that.
Paramount. They couldn't come together. Mike, I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think you're ever going to get that payoff.
Pipe
Wink,
nightmare.
wink.
Yeah. So, all right. So Jason Carey, that's the setup. I think I've
Yeah.
seen the end. I watched when Jason got killed on YouTube.
And when she's
pulls the roof
psychically
down.
holding and crushes him,
Yeah.
it's very cool. Again, you're seeing
That's
the
fun.
supernatural elements. I like that element of it.
Yeah. Once he becomes supernaturally, comes like that's when it's like, okay, Jason is this. He's just a force of nature, basically.
Yeah, well, and this one was how do we get something to fight a force of nature?
Yeah.
Okay, they have
We're
to
kinda
have
running
out
supernatural abilities.
Yeah. That's true. I like that though because I like when it gets kind of weird because these are supposed to be fun and goofy.
Then we go to Part 8. We get on a boat, Joe. It's Takes Manhattan.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Going to New York, gonna kick some jukeboxes.
Oh, I love when he goes into the diner and the cook is like, "You son of a bitch," and Jason just. But no, there's a guy in a leather jacket who gets up like, "I'll stop him," and then the chef is this big ass
Yeah.
dude who pushes the leather jacket guy out of the way. He's like, "Oh, I got him," and just gets racked.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely the most, like, whether it was intentional or not, funny.
Yeah, and that's what I like. Horror and comedy, I said before, are very closely linked.
They go well together.
And-
but you skipped a couple here, but you're back on track. So is
Yeah, now
this
we're back.
a HBO? Is this a rental at a party?
These were all rentals, or yeah.
And somebody says, so at some point, somebody says to you, they've got Jason number 8, and does the thought cross your mind, well, I haven't seen the last 4? Like, does that even matter? No, you can just
It means
jump
nothing.
on- Exactly.
He's in Manhattan
Well, how did he get there?
on a boat for 2/3 of the film.
Yeah.
But I was just like, let me jump in there,
Let's jump in there. And then it goes, Jason Goes to Hell, the final chapter.
Yeah.
This
Which
is
is
the one
my
we talked
least
about
favorite.
before. Yeah, where
Yeah.
he's more monster. He's not even kind of a person at this point.
Right.
He's body jumping.
Yeah, he's
So,
body
like,
jumping.
you're not even getting the iconic look for most of
It's
it.
just the spirit, yeah.
And no number, no part 9 for that one.
Because this was supposed to be it.
Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, the final
The
chapter.
box art is probably the best for Jason Goes to Hell, though.
The snake coming
Absolutely.
through the mask.
That's like the one that sticks
The
out
fire
the
in the
most to
background,
me.
Mike. That is when
Yeah.
I think of this franchise. That's the image that I see.
And this is the one that had the tie-in for Freddy and
the claw at the end, bitch.
yeah, the claw at the end reaching up and the Necronomicon on the shelf of Pamela Voorhees' house.
Oh,
He
that I did
has the
not know.
Necronomicon.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah,
Oh, wow.
he has the Necronomicon. So that was supposed to be the tie-in to Ash versus Jason versus Freddy.
That makes
my
sense.
God.
Little
You could
Sam
still
Raimi
do it.
reference there.
You could still do it.
And of course, in Evil Dead 2, Freddy's claw.
Freddy's Claw was in Evil Dead too?
In the shack where he goes to get his chainsaw, it's hung up in the back.
I never knew
Yeah,
that.
dude, it's really badass.
That's awesome. Okay.
Then we go to the future. We hit Jason X, number 10.
Yep, out in space.
Completely out of continuity here. I mean,
Yeah.
none of what occurs in this film ever gets referenced again.
No, because it's in the future.
Right.
So obviously it wouldn't. I mean, it makes
No, it's what we're
sense that
working
it
towards.
wouldn't. Yeah. Eventually we'll get there.
We're going to loop back around. This
Yeah.
one is here. We're working our way up.
Yeah, Mike, you like this one.
It's just fun because it's
I love this
the
one.
most ridiculous.
It's there's the
What if-
sexy android like
Yep.
It's like what if Alien, but Jason,
Yep.
and campy.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's super fun.
Also,
Remember,
what if he was
video
half
games
cyborg?
in this universe are like super advanced VR?
Oh yeah, because you get the Crystal Lake VR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get the two girls who take their tops off and
Yeah.
say we're fun campers, and Jason goes,
Yeah.
to get
This was the
distracted. And he
point.
starts to like walk towards.
I mean,
them.
they
It's
all
badass.
had
so
like
funny.
gratuitous nudity and stuff, but I feel like
Right.
this was the first one where they were like, okay, well, we're 30 seconds in and no one's seen any boobies
Yeah,
yet.
Joe.
Gotta
Again,
pull 'em
you would
out.
think at the top, but by the middle of that series, it dips. By the time he's fighting Carrie, they kind of want more teens on board, and they're not really flashing as much
Right.
gratuity anymore.
Yeah.
Well, when these things were coming out originally, like they were schlock. You have to get
Yeah.
people to pay money to go see them. You gotta, they do that kind of stuff to sell tickets. Just, oh, if I watch this movie, I'm expected to get some TNA. It's not the best business practice, but
I'm
they
gonna
did it.
see some movies.
Yeah, regardless
you know.
of if it's good, that's worth my nickel.
Yeah, I'm 16 years old. I'm sneaking into this movie. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but it's cool to have that holosuite scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so self-aware, you know?
Oh, it's
It
incredibly.
is very.
I don't
It's like
know.
Leprechaun in space. Did you guys ever
Oh,
see that
God.
one? where
They
he
did
gets
that.
blown up.
Oh, that's so funny. I did not see that.
All right, let's send Mike Myers up there, guys.
In
Let's
10
send-
Look, let's do it all in space.
Elon Musk
Yeah,
will get
might
him
as
out
well.
there.
Elon Musk presents Freddy vs. Jason vs. Leprechaun vs. Michael
I
vs.
guess-
Xenomorph.
Do you guys
In
think
space, yeah.
Freddy's
Predator
the only
too.
one where they couldn't get sci-fi Freddy just because, what, you dream in space? That just wouldn't work, right?
You could get sci-fi Freddy. Astronauts sleep.
Yeah.
Freddy's on Mars.
Oh, man.
I mean, Freddy's anywhere all the time,
Yeah.
right? You know,
welcome to
Freddy-
Uranus, bitch.
Yeah, seriously. Jason X, I don't know if this is a detriment to it. It was the first one I felt like I could watch a lot. Like I would just watch it on TV in the middle of the day because
Oh,
it
it's
wouldn't
not
scare
scary.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
funny.
As a kid, I could
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, it's just that, and that's where it gets to being that
Yeah.
funny, over-the-top gore fest stuff. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, what's the band? Guar?
Gwar, yeah, like
Yeah, it's
Gwar.
like that.
They're not scary.
It's a lot like War.
They're gory, but they're not scary.
Yeah,
right?
weird.
So Jason X,
Jason X, then we go right to Freddy versus Jason. It finally happens, guys.
low-key, this might be, could be in the conversation for my favorite.
I had this movie
Jason
on DVD.
movie.
I
I love this movie.
The day it came out on DVD. I went
Other
and
than
bought
all
it.
the others you're saying.
No, I did not have a lot of the others collected. This one to me, it was just like, I mean, it's kind of like the argument I've
Special.
made a handful of times on niche to normie stuff where it's like, in the zeitgeist, like the original Star Trek, I don't need to watch the original series. I can jump right to TNG because I know all this shit.
Yeah.
When you meet Freddy and Jason in that movie, you get it. You know who they are,
give you a
whether
quick
you've
setup,
seen any
too.
of the movies or not.
I think is this let's do a debate here. Is this the best versus film ever made? Is it better than Alien versus Predator?
And that's the only other
It's
one I
better
can
than
think of.
Alien vs. Predator.
Cats
I would say.
versus dogs. I think it
How
has a
dare
slight
ya.
edge.
Well, yeah, because
My
it had
issue-
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, I like to see the Predator and the Alien go up against each other more because I think it's more natural. I'm not sure that Freddy should be haunting Jason's dreams.
What?
Because he's manipulating, again, plot of the movie, because he's manipulating him to go kill these teenagers to make them afraid of Freddy again.
Right.
So, I mean, like,
That's
honestly,
awesome.
the plot is there.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The plot does exist in this movie, as garbage as it is.
And we're talking where the bad guy becomes the protagonist, and this truly Jason becomes the protagonist, the guy you're rooting for, because they need to keep Jason asleep so he can go kill Freddy in the dream world. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one you're rooting for in
he's the
Freddy
only one who
vs.
can
Jason.
save them.
Yeah.
Right? That's awesome. Like the most evil force of pure murder, right? And they're like, we need him though.
And do you guys just remember that scene where the canisters are shooting at Jason and he's just kind of like lumbering past
yeah.
them? I think about that shot a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, but then you sympathize too because Freddy's using the water to fall on him. He knows he drowned. Maybe people say that's dumb, but like it's like he's just at the end of the day, yeah, he murders people, but he's just a kid who drowned.
I mean, it's also
Yeah.
a good callback to the mythos. Like, I think that movie
Exactly.
does do a pretty decent job
And
of sticking to it.
And it plays into what Freddy does. What's Jason's biggest fear? Probably drowning again.
Yeah,
It's
let me
not
play on
guns.
that.
I mean, you guys are 100% right. The franchise itself has such a weird, loose mythos that Freddy vs. Jason really does kind of play it up. Halfway through one of the Corey Feldman films, he just says, I think he'll die if we get him back in the lake. And people just like start assuming that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll
so
go
it's
with
kind of
that.
interesting that Freddy and Jason are like, sure, water's his weakness.
Water's his weakness. Yeah, I love it.
Except for in the best movie, Jason Takes Manhattan, where he just comes right up and gets on that boat.
He just not. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that Camp Crystal Lake opens up into Manhattan?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't it?
It
It's
never
the Hudson
did
River.
before.
There's an aqueduct underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we've got the last film in the franchise, number 12 of Friday the 13th, just titled Friday the 13th, 2009.
And this was the remake, the reboot, soft reboot, even you could say, because they do acknowledge that, the backstory.
Yeah. This is my Jason. You mentioned Kane Hodder before. I really like Derek Mears. He's a stunt performer who's been all over a bunch of franchises and just brings a very cool characterization to Jason.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got swagger.
Oh, confidence too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
There's an imposing air about this Jason. Like he feels like everybody's heard of Jason. Maybe you haven't seen the movies, but when you see the 2009 Jason, he feels like what you would imagine.
Yeah, he knows he's part of a legend.
Yes, he is legend incarnate in that one. Yeah. That's not a Will Smith reference. But
Yeah, he is legend. You're right, Mike.
he definitely embodies that physical presence, definitely. Cotter maybe gave him the...
He gave him the rules. Look, Hodder's the one who came up with the not running. He stopped that completely, just the very slow lumbering.
There's
to
no reason he
teleport.
would ever run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he maybe dialed in the personality, and then 2009 is like just solidified it.
Because that's the point. Like, he's inhuman. It doesn't matter how fast you run. He's going to be right behind you.
He can teleport. Doesn't matter. Yeah, he doesn't need to run. You need to run, and you do.
Yeah.
Fast.
Just some general favorite thoughts about him. I mean, things like that. You guys like when he teleports? I prefer that to the running.
I love how you guys say teleport like that's confirmed, like he is teleporting. Like,
if you
he's fucking Nightcrawler.
If you turn behind a cabin, he will be there. If you run to the next cabin, he's already in that cabin.
And not too big of a spoiler, but like in the game, he has the power to teleport.
Yeah, like I was gonna bring that up. Like he does actually.
So we'll talk more.
teleport
But
in
does
that
he
game.
have that in the movies? Is what we're here to ask. I don't know if he does.
What?
I mean, he does. He does. Like you see it.
He does.
But is it explained?
No,
Is it in his power docket when you get his one sheet?
Well, what would be in his power docket at all? Like he big.
He attack.
He protect.
He smash.
He smack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put the machete in there. Truly, I mean,
He has a lot of weapons.
He's very improvised.
That's true. He is
The
the
MacGyver
Bruce Lee.
of murder, man.
Yeah, Jeet Kill Do.
I love to see anytime he pulls somebody through a window.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That really
That's a great,
gets
like,
me.
oh shit, he's right there.
Exactly.
That's the other. His attribute is also his strength. Right. Freddy doesn't have strength. Right.
No.
Neither does Michael Myers. Really. Leatherface. Not in even the same degree. Leatherface is just like a mangly rascal, a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, he's not as strong as the Hulk, like ripping through buildings.
Yeah, Leatherface will pull you through, Jason will pull you through a wall.
My biggest fear about Leatherface is that he'll take that mask off and be Mick Foley. I've always thought that about my life, is that he's just like...
don't make me read your
big-
book.
He's like a big slob.
I've read all three of his books. Yeah. So Jason, that's his other main attribute,
Yeah.
his physical strength. So he can slam your head in a car door.
He can, truly crush your face with his palm.
Whatever he wants. Yeah, that's what makes him scary, is that physical strength, and he's just slow and methodical. Yeah.
So is he human?
No, he's a zombie.
He's a zombie.
He is a zombie.
So you don't think he's any sort of like demon or evil incarnate?
No, I think he was human.
I think he is a vessel for the vengeful spirit of his mother to influence, right? So it's like
Oh, Mike's Freudian.
yeah, because she
He
was
is
the
his
one.
Maza.
She passed her judgment on the campers of the no sex, no drugs. How did you let Jason die? And this is why, because you were so distracted by these vices, right?
Yeah.
And then it's that voice, because the mother's love, she killed them because she loved her son. And like maybe the spirit and the vessel of Jason is feeding off that. Because the sweater, he responds to the sweater like he still is influenced.
He
by his
responds to
mother.
the head, guys, when he's got that shrine in his little hidey hole.
Yeah.
He does have a little hidey hole.
So I think really it's just
He's Helga Pataki.
Yeah, he's Helga Pataki and just doing what Arnold wants him to do, which is murder. Yeah.
Do you guys like the hockey mask or the bag? I like the bag a lot.
I actually
I'll be
like the
honest with
bag.
you.
The bag's
Yeah.
spooky.
The
The hockey
dumbest-
mask is the superhero costume.
Yeah.
I mean, that's putting on the cape, right?
Yeah, that's his kit. Why a hockey mask? Though?
I don't know.
There's no hockey. Does Crystal Lake freeze over in the winter, you think? And they can just play some pond
Well,
hockey?
yeah. I mean, if it opens up to the Hudson River, then obviously it does.
obviously
Come on,
does.
All right,
Mike.
so now, and that
Whatever it
it's
does.
in the supply closet. They have the hockey masks. Okay, this all makes perfect sense.
In the remake, he just like pulls it out of that guy's like shed after he murders
finds
him.
it on a mannequin. Yeah.
Okay,
He's like,
so-
oh, okay. Why did that guy have a mannequin with a
I
fucking
don't know.
hockey mask on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same Mystery Alaska pond. I don't know, man. It's super. You're right. It's putting on the cape.
The worst thing about the bag head is the blue overalls. Because in my mind, again,
It's
it's just,
like-
it kind of gets a little too hillbilly.
That's a little hillbilly.
He looks
yeah.
like The show Home Improvement, the next door neighbor.
Yeah. He's just hiding his face.
Yeah, it's like if you had to see Al out in public, you just put a bag on his head.
That's true.
And he's got like the one eye peeking out of it, which I guess makes sense because you need to see, but also it's like, why you got that eye out?
He doesn't need depth perception.
No, or go back and listen to our Resident Evil episode. He kind of looks like some of those Resident Evil 4
When you
villains
take the
with
mask
chainsaws
off.
and the mask. Yeah.
So that's another question.
Looks
What do you
like
think he
Nemesis.
looks like underneath that mask? I mean, remember in Jason Takes Manhattan, he spooks those punkers.
Overall, just for me, when I think of the silhouette that he cuts, like we're getting a lot now where you see with the eye holes that Michael Myers is a person underneath there. I kind of don't even like seeing the eyes of Jason. So when you talk about getting that mask off, seeing that face, I like what we talked about earlier in Manhattan where the audience isn't getting it. It becomes a crutch that they start to lean on where they do want to film. Take that out for me.
Yeah, they do want a film to just kind of really, that's their makeup showing off.
Yeah, I'm like showing this is the state that this vessel is in now. Like it's been through hell and back. It's been underwater. Like however they want to portray it. Yeah, I don't think they need to lean on that. I mean, there's a look with the one lower eye, and it's like kind of weird. I don't know. I like the slightly more zombie than that, but not like the waterlogged,
So you don't like the deformed look. You like the...
monsterish look. Kind of like somewhere like...
Because he was deformed. I mean, that is the
He was.
tragedy.
That was
is that
the
he was a
physical
deformed
fiction,
kid.
Yeah.
No, I like when the mask is working into his skin.
When it fuses.
Like it's like layered in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate look. Yeah. Like when he,
That's primo
The
Jason.
ultimate Jason.
when he cannot take the mask off. Yeah.
He's looking his finest when it's embedded into his skin.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, he is the mask. That's the Jason persona. Nobody ever, except for Baghead.
So these movies do have different genres to them. I mean, we have, the original Friday the 13th is a straightforward slasher. Who done it even? And then we reveal Pamela. Then we have like the gorier aspects where it's like creative kills. He's going to get someone with a bow and arrow. He's going to get someone with a sleeping bag. He's going to get him with a weed whacker. And then you have sort of the supernatural elements as well in some of the later ones where he seems to have some sort of demonic powers. The next one you really got to nail, right? We've had 12 movies. The franchise is called Friday the 13th. We're on the 13th movie. What do you guys want? What do you want to see in the 13th Friday the 13th?
I like the last one that they did so much. When we're talking about the different Jasons, that was the hillbilly Jason. We haven't seen that Jason transform into the undead version. It's too many years out now, but I would have liked to see a sequel to that.
Yeah, because you got to think we're a decade away.
This is
from
no,
that one.
we're on full reboot territory, unfortunately.
I mean,
But does it need to be a full reboot? I mean, my
Right.
argument would be that he's so much in the American zeitgeist and in our culture. Everyone knows who Jason is. Do we need to see it rebooted?
Spider-Man Homecoming didn't do the origin story again. I think
Threw
Jason's
it
big
away.
enough that you don't
Yeah.
need to do it. And it would be cool to turn that corner of demonic Jason in this new style.
Yeah. Something like the Predator franchise, I can look at what they're doing right now and point out what's wrong. Like they are continuing forward when that's not what the coolest part of that story is. You could do a World War II movie where they go up against the Predator. You could do the Civil War. You could look to the
Oh,
past.
I would love something like that,
Yeah.
man.
Like Tremors.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. No, number 4 is the worst. I don't like when they
Old
went to
West?
the past.
No?
Yeah, old West,
What-
please.
all right.
But when I look at the Friday the 13th movies, I cannot pinpoint what is going wrong. They're embracing all the tropes that I loved younger. Have we aged out of that? Is it PC culture, quote unquote? Is the climate of movies just that it's big blockbusters now, or as we talked about in our horror episode, sort of Oscar bait horror films? Like,
Is
you
it not
can't get
arty?
that. Yeah, exactly.
Is it too lowbrow for today's climate?
That's an interesting question. Some of this might be informed in the video game section because it feels like some of this, quote, lowbrow, it was more like free-form filmmaking of the 70s and 80s. You could just kind of do whatever and see
Yeah.
what sticks. Now everyone's scared to take risks in the film industry. But with video games, you can make a Steam game, you can make an indie game and take a risk and it might blow up. So maybe the studios are hesitant, but I think it's a franchise that's big enough that it deserves to show that it can walk on its own feet. Look at what the Doom reboot game did. It captured the true spirit of what it was like to play those original games when other stuff had kind of fallen off. Do that with Jason. Capture the spirit of the imposing presence, the demonic elements, and just treat him right. You saw how you said they messed up Predator. Just pay attention to that. Stay away from those pitfalls and focus on just delivering that pure Jason experience.
Do you want laughs in a Jason movie?
A little bit.
A couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you?
It needs to be self-aware and a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but not totally like
Jason X.
goofy. Not Jason X, no.
Something like Doom, the remakes they're not necessarily throwing the mythos out, but do you mind if they play with it a little more, Mike?
Definitely play with it. I think he needs to be in the woods around a lake. Jason X is way too extreme. He doesn't need to be in Manhattan. But Jason, I guess, is at his purest to me when he's in the woods, behind a tree, around a cabin, right? Like, that's Jason. Jason is the summer camp slasher, period, bar none.
Yeah, I mean, more than Michael Myers or Freddy, he's location based. That's why, as a kid, I was never afraid of Jason.
What about Elm
Freddy,
Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
But he's everybody's dreamscape.
Yeah, yes, he's stuck to Elm Street, I suppose, but also he could be, think of Dream Warriors everywhere he goes.
You could be someone's dreaming of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Also, New Nightmare. I mean, he's in Hollywood.
Yeah. So
oh boy.
he's very location based, except for space.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you? All right, so here's a crazy pitch. I would like to see Jason trying to bring back his mom.
Wow.
Do you have any interest in something like that?
I could see him kidnapping a person that resembles his mom and trying to make her fit that
That's
role.
the reboot.
Yeah, that is. You're absolutely right. Almost a two-hander of she's also a monster, and maybe
that's kind of what I was thinking. Almost like a Bride of Frankenstein,
love
but
that,
a mom
Joe.
of Frankenstein.
Joe, fuck, god damn it! If you didn't just hit the nail on the head with how much this character is almost tied to the Frankenstein monster. I mean, misunderstood, hated by the masses, freakish. Fucking Bride of Frankenstein. That makes sense to me, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would like to see.
Damn.
It's a play that goes deep diving on these mythos, crazy, and brings back Pamela Voorhees.
I think,
as some sort of
Pamela.
undead monster.
She is, as much as Jason gets the spotlight, she is the inciting character, right?
Which I always thought was kind of
evil.
weird. Like, you have the
She's
queen
the fulcrum. Yeah, the queen.
in Alien, right? You see the xenomorph queen. Why would you not see the Jason queen? That is his mom.
Yeah, that's
As long
true.
as it's not Rob Zombie's Halloween, where we're seeing Ghost Mommy.
Oh boy, I hated that.
It's like-
Halloween 2,
Yeah.
the Rob Zombie one, so bad.
It's like a Norman Bates thing, but not. I don't want Jason in a wig.
Yeah, I don't want that, but I like the area you're going to.
Yeah.
I think they need to do something inventive because, like you said, and we talked about in the first horror episode, we are in the era of the art house horror film. How do you take Jason and make it a little more psychological?
I'd say fuck that and kick the door down, grab their head, slam it against the stove, and do some Jason shit.
Yeah, man.
But I mean,
Cut the gas line, blow the camp up.
But you got to kind of live in this world. You're right, Joe. You got to kind of, how do we take that and then adapt it to this modern
guys,
taste?
we're dancing around it. The Halloween remake that's about to come
That's
out.
happening, right?
It's about women empowerment. It's about firearms. It's about safety in neighborhoods. I mean, they are touching on cultural stuff. They found a way to bring that franchise into the modern age of horror films. Why couldn't this?
See, but I think Michael's a little more grounded, man. Like
Yeah.
he's a kid who killed his family and went to an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, oh, he's a kid who was murdered and lived in a swamp and
It
then
might be a
emerged
fish
and is
boy.
in a demon.
Yeah.
Mom revenge and
Yeah.
it's a little bit more complicated, but you could take notes from how they revived the Halloween franchise and apply those lessons.
Yeah, see, I either want one of two ways. I want a thoughtful psychological thriller slasher with Jason trying to reanimate his mother, or fucking bring me Bruce Campbell. Bring me Robert Englund and make Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yeah, if we're talking about that, let's just kitchen sink it, right?
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Forget it. That's what I want. That's
That's what you want. Then why don't we go ahead and jump over to the comic books where that did happen?
Oh.
So that was the movies of the Friday the 13th universe. We teased there a little bit at the end, the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, which does exist in the comics, and we'll hit towards the end of this segment. But first, let's talk a little bit about the origins of Jason in the comics. You know, like we talked about in the first horror Halloween episode, comics used to be mostly horror stories. By the time Jason came around, we were in that superhero boom. Colin, I know you did a little bit of research about Jason making his introduction there. What was it like when he first appeared in the comics?
I'll tell you, the first company to pitch him up is a perfect one for him. You've got Topps, the trading card company, right? I mean, what are they known for? Obviously baseball cards, but what's the big weird horror thing there?
Jurassic Park.
Which, if you go back and listen to that episode, they did make a couple comics.
Yeah.
Nope. That's right. It's Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, what? That is Topps. Yeah, the cards
that's
and
the
everything.
weird Topps gross cards. So Topps picks up and starts a Topps comics line, and they just start adapting Jason comics directly from the movies. They do Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh my God! So was this the first introduction of the comic book line was with Jason?
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a beginning, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, again, they understand the culture that's going on. In 1993, you're not doing a story about Pamela Voorhees.
No.
You're doing Jason Goes to Hell. You're doing supplemental material in that to sketch out the scenes more, which, of course, as we brought up in the past, gets thrown out in the movies. They do not care about any of that stuff.
Right.
And these are the type of things that I think, like, today you could probably do a Pamela Voorhees slow burn thriller comic. But at the time, I get, you're cash grabbing, essentially.
Oh, guys, we'll get there. But first, Topps does, beyond that, their own first original, a 1995 3-issue crossover that Mike's going to go bananas for with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, what? Leatherface and Jason?
So this actually kind of makes
Give me
sense
that
to me.
movie.
The thing that I have been saying I don't like about Jason the most is how trash he is, or I guess low status, or
Colin's
hillbilly.
highbrow.
Wow.
Look, Michael Myers, killer of the suburbs. It just makes sense to me.
You don't like upper middle class killers?
No, it's the griminess. You know what I mean? So this comic book actually, and of course, none of this canon, ties together. Him and Leatherface are brothers.
Oh.
It turns out.
I could see that.
Yeah,
It's a little bit
I
of
could absolutely see that as well.
Baghead. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So did they do like brother stuff? Go killing people,
they got on a train car and just started killing hobos, and then just started killing people wherever they got off at. I mean, yeah, again,
It's brothers, man.
They're
we're
literally
talking the movies. Is that where we'd want it to go?
No. I like camping, but not that much. They're the literal hobo murder squad D&D party.
Yeah, just a movie of, these two sad killers already killing even sadder degenerates. It's
But
like, oh my God.
The right place for that is a comic book.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
This is where
fun.
you can do that.
Because it's just a weird, dreamy world that they're creating.
Well, and it's almost like fan fiction. Yeah. I mean, all fiction is fan fiction.
Oh, they have
when
sex
It's
at the
based on properties.
That's true.
No. So from there, Topps uses them for quite a while, creating their own runs. But then they get picked up by Avatar Comics, and this is after Freddy vs. Jason has been released. So this is about 2005. And this is more of a narrative world. Like, they're actually creating their own continuity. The premise is that two siblings inherit Camp Crystal Lake, and they want to fixer-upper it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what are they going to run into?
Jason. Pamela.
Yeah, even
It's
worse
like
than
Flipper Fop.
It was a summer to remember.
Yeah, even worse than like trying to like renovate your home and finding out it's like above a sewage line. It's like, whoa, we inherited like a spooky hockey faced guy. Oh, hi
his house,
neighbors.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to meet you.
Yeah, and he's just like in the bushes, and you're like, "Well, I'm sorry, he comes with this place."
Yeah, he's the groundskeeper.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would think right away.
Anyone want this sweater?
Yeah, if Jason had a brain, I guess he might pull some Michael Myers stuff where he would just take his mask off and try to blend in. But no, of course, he just starts killing people immediately.
Yeah, right. I mean, does he have a brain?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Can he
Or does
plot
he just
things out?
Or does he just pursue and kill.
I would say he has a brain continuity-wise because he was sleeping and Freddy was getting into his dreams. So
that's
so
true.
that's my big brain logic there.
And sometimes when he sees people escaping certain ways, he does plan out the trap to catch them
He
again.
intuits
so,
that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Or could that be
Probably
Pamela?
smarter than he lets
Yeah.
on. So yeah, you're all about this. Pamela is inside him secretly.
Yeah, yeah.
Freudian.
It's like Oedipus or something.
All right, well, let's talk about what we said before. Joe, you pitched Pamela Voorhees comic. That exists.
Oh, really? I
So,
did not know
Wow.
that.
We're talking Wildstorm, of course, Jim Lee's comic run that eventually gets picked up by DC. Does a 2007 issue with the license Pamela's Tale. This is the story of when she gets pregnant and why she ends up at Crystal Lake. She has Jason, gives her entire background there and leads up to her dying and Jason taking over.
See, now, do you think this is the type of thing where, like Split ended up being a Sneak Attack Unbreakable sequel? Do you think you could do a movie about a woman named Pamela who goes through this? Sneak Attack, she's Pamela Voorhees.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't want it to be a Friday the 13th movie, but I think it's great inside that universe as, if they did have their own standalones. The Camp Counselor Greg movie is going to be great, guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want that, but I'd be interested in it.
I think you could definitely do an interesting, like before the actual Friday the 13th comes out, you could do that backdoor.
Prequel.
It would have to be a
But you don't
yeah.
fucking ever mention in any of the
Nope,
promo.
until the
End
last
credits.
scene,
No.
or the end credits.
And we bypassed it in the movie section. Of course, Friday the 13th was a very short-lived TV show. They did
yeah.
this a lot. Freddy's New Nightmares. No, Freddy's Nightmares,
Freddy's
I believe,
Nightmares.
was the name of the series for him. I might like to see the Pamela stuff as a TV show, almost the
It's
same
like
way
Bates
that...
Hotel.
Yeah, the
Crystal
Bates
Lake.
Motel, Scream, The Mist. We're seeing a lot of that short form being adapted as prequel stuff. Bam, here it is.
We
Pamela.
were
Pretty
mentioning
Voorhees.
interesting, yeah.
Voorhees, there you go.
Voorhees, yeah.
We were mentioning, that horror is kind of living on TV now with The Walking Dead, with American Horror Story, with the Castle Rock, a little bit of spooky stuff going on. So yeah, I mean, maybe you could expand the Voorhees brand to, streaming services.
And
I do think it'd be interesting to see.
we should say real quick, readers, listeners.
Like a Bates Motel.
We do have a TV on with some clips of... Oh, don't turn around, Mike. The reason I wanted to say it is while you're talking, you don't even realize the reboot is playing, and we just saw a great topless scene.
Oh,
And it was the perfect nipple placement
Oh,
moment.
geez.
Exactly.
I thought it because I looked
Perfect
behind
timing.
me.
'Cause we recently rewatched this one.
Yeah.
I think it was either July or June, sometime in the last couple months. It was Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
and we
legitimately.
watched the reboot on Friday the 13th to celebrate.
Nice.
And I remember that moment where he was like, "Perfect nipple placement, baby," and I was like, "Oh my
yikes.
god, why did
I
I say I
can't-
wanted to put this on?"
I can't wait till this guy dies.
Yeah.
It's like when Phil Dunphy is in the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
and he's
love
like,
that.
"I have the keys to the bone."
It's like,
yeah.
please let him die.
Yeah, he gonna get it.
He gonna get
Yeah,
it.
see, he just said it.
Yeah, and you show it to your girlfriend, and you're like, I love these movies. And she says, what did you like about them? And then these scenes pop up, and you're like, well, not this.
The
It's
art-
funny to say this. This reboot was a first date of mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
saw
that's
it.
funny.
I saw it twice in theaters. I saw it at midnight the Thursday before it came out because it did come out on Friday the 13th. And then I saw it again the next night as a first date, and it was an interesting experience.
I always seem to get very important work emails when that scene pops up and I'm watching with my girlfriend.
No.
Oh, what? I didn't even. What are you talking about? I didn't see that scene.
yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, or God forbid with your parents.
Yeah, I saw Resident Evil with my dad. And there's like 5 minutes in, Mila Jovovich. Anyway, moving on from boopers.
Back to the comics. That's pretty much it, guys. There's not an ongoing with Jason right now. As Joe mentioned, the comics is the only time we've seen the crossover with the Evil Dead. We had Jason, Freddy versus Ash.
Now we're
This is
talking.
what you really want. It was a really fucking fun miniseries.
IDW.
IDW, the covers were by Scotty Campbell, who is a really well-known comic book artist, does a bunch of Spider-Man pinups with Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy and Black Cat. And he did a 3-part cover where it was Ash in the cover of one, Freddy on the cover of one, and Jason on the cover of one, and they all blend together beautifully.
Oh, man.
It was everything you'd want. It is campy. You got Ash at S-Mart. You got Camp Crystal Lake. You got Freddy coming into their nightmares. It is hilarious and scary and fun and
Great art.
and a pretty well done story, I would say.
Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean, they're working off a script that existed, so it makes sense.
Yeah, because this was something New Line wanted, and the issue was that all 3 of the characters were owned by separate people.
Oh,
and
no.
they just could never get their shit together. And when they finally did, you couldn't get Ash, so we just had Freddy versus Jason.
And we should say the second issue was, unfortunately, Freddy vs. Jason was not the box office darling that they hoped it would be.
Oh, man. I love it, though. I wish
Yeah.
it would have done better.
Yeah, but the book is a ton of fun. If you're a fan of even one of these 3, you're gonna love it. There's a ton of great Ash comics. Maybe next year we'll do an Evil Dead episode.
Yeah.
Because he's
Sign me
one of
up,
my
baby.
favorite horror icons.
We
But
got
to see
games,
him
yeah.
go up against the 2 icons is so much fun.
It's similar to that pitch of like, give me the Supernatural brothers versus every horror icon. They encounter Chucky. They encounter
I was about to
Jason,
say,
Freddy.
how can you not have a post-cred where Michael's watching all that? Like, fuck you, Ash.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
But I do weirdly keep Michael in a separate category to me because he's more real.
He's a
more
man,
grounded.
Right.
Yeah,
not
He's
a
a dude.
monster.
And I do, hot take, I guess I shouldn't say this while we're doing the Jason episode. I do think Michael reigns supreme over all the rest.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
In terms of actual horror movies, I think the best horror movies are Michael versus Jason.
Yeah,
versus
you love
Freddy.
number 3, Season of the Witch.
I do love
Okay.
Season
Wow.
of the Witch. I don't want to get too off of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it is our Halloween
Yeah,
episode, so
of
it's
course.
okay.
Let's
I do like that one.
Yeah, let's touch this again on the recap at the end.
Yeah.
Let's just
Oh, yeah,
go
yeah,
through
yeah.
and because
We'll go-
I want to debate this a little bit.
These are just basic Halloween movies. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and who's the greatest?
Who's the
Because I'm
king?
going to fight for Leatherface. Back off, fellas.
All right.
But as we wrap up here in the comic book section, I do have to say, hail to the king, baby. Obviously, Ash is a great character. To see him go up against these 2 icons is so much fun. I couldn't recommend that miniseries any higher. IDW, I guess it's like a decade old now at this point. It's been a long time.
No, that's amazing. I got to check that out.
Yeah, there are trade paperbacks. There's variant covers. Definitely something worth tracking down.
Those 3 covers would be something I would put on my wall.
I'm going to LA Comic Con at the end of the month here. Definitely going to be looking for that.
Hey, keep an eye out, Normies. You might catch a glimpse of Joe over at LA Comic Con.
Say hi. Well, here we are in 2018. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of comic book news coming up. They don't have anything ongoing. Again, I guess our recommendation here would be check out the Ash versus the team there because that's kind of the best representation of Jason in the comics.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be fun. If you're a fan of the franchise, you'll love it.
Yeah, otherwise things seem a little bit underwater right now.
Oh, he's got to get one in every
got to.
episode. Well, so we've watched Jason, we've read Jason. What about being Jason?
Should we play the killer himself?
So with a killer like Jason, it's one thing to see the kills. It's another thing to do them yourselves. We're here to talk a little bit about the games of Friday the 13th.
It feels like Pamela Voorhees would be the type of person to kill you for playing violent video games. Like she's the type of mom.
Absolutely.
who
If
would
she
be
was
like,
still around, she'd be like, what is it, Mad? The mom's...
Absolutely. Guys, once again,
violent games.
she's not killing the people who killed Jason. She's taking revenge on anyone who goes to Camp Crystal Lake. She is a maniac.
Yeah, and does whatever she deems to be immoral, right? So she'd be like, Mortal Kombat.
Not in my life.
Yeah, I die.
Well, speaking of Mortal Kombat, we're talking all about the games. What experience do you guys have here?
That's also speaking of Mortal Kombat. I've watched gameplay of the new version, the SNES version. I never played, but I mean everyone knows about how bad it was. But I have played Mortal Kombat X, and that has Jason Voorhees as a downloadable character.
That's right. You told us in the
right.
Mortal Kombat episode he is a player.
Jason, Freddy, the Alien, the Predator, like Leatherface
So
is in
what
it.
All
is
that
what
is
is
my
Jason's
dream.
finisher? What is
Yeah, it's
his
a lot. He's got
his
a-
fatality.
He's got a classic cleaver down the skull. I think he rips their arms off and beats them to death at one point.
It's just going to be all machete play.
yeah.
Does he do a babality or any of those? Are those in there?
I wonder if he has. I don't think they have the friendships in Mortal Kombat X. I think it's just pure
It's just
fatality.
pure
Him and
fatalities.
Freddy high-fiving.
Yeah. So I really like what I've seen from the new one, but let's go around and see what everybody else is. There's only, to my knowledge, 3 of these counting Mortal Kombat, his appearance there, there's the new multiplayer game,
2016 or 2017?
2016, I believe, and then the SNES game, which is notoriously bad.
Mike, I'll say even worse. Not even SNES. It's NES.
It's NES.
Oh, so it is one of the
real
very
bad.
And is it Friday the 13th with Jason, or is it Friday the 13th with Pamela?
It's
I mean,
called
that's super
Friday
old.
the 13th. It's an adaptation of Part 2.
And it's
Okay.
Jason.
So you're baghead.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it has
No.
real. It has Hockey Mask
Yeah,
Jason.
no, I'm sorry. It is Hockey Mask Jason. It must be
okay.
Part 3 then.
Yeah. So it's just a tie-in. But
I have not played this one at all. Have you guys?
have you seen anything about it?
I have not, no.
Wow.
I didn't even know that existed until we were about to do this episode.
Well, I mean, to quickly set it up, it's a NES game. I misspoke on SNES, but you are playing as multiple camp counselors. It's like kind of a 3/4 top-down view where you move around the map. And basically, you're looking for items, clues, you're looking for weapons, and Jason will randomly appear at cabins on the map. You need to navigate there and try to defeat Jason. And on the way, there's zombie dogs and ghouls that you're throwing rocks at.
You remember those from the movie.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
The ghouls that pop up out of the
You gotta
ground.
watch out for the ghouls.
You got to throw
Jason's
rocks at them.
dog.
Jason's minions.
Yeah, so it's kind of dumb. You trying to light fireplaces in the cabins because that will keep Jason from going into there.
Yeah, from coming out of the fireplace.
And the game over state is you can switch to the different counselors and they're all in a different location on the map. So the idea is you can take control of any of them, but like if Bobby's got the gun and you transfer to Tracy only has a rock. So your inventory isn't shared. But
That's pretty interesting.
so it is, but it also plays like garbage.
Sure, but for an NES game, I mean, those are some pretty lofty mechanics.
It's pretty ambitious. And you
Yeah.
get a little Jason alert when he's at a cabin, so you can go and try to save the other counselors. But also notably in this, Jason is wearing he's got a bright green head and a purple jumpsuit. So he looks like a weird, like, I don't know, it's like Zombies Ate My Neighbor's character. Like,
yeah, like
yeah.
Scooby-Doo villain.
yeah, Scooby-Doo villain,
even better,
exactly.
guys, I'll give you the perfect example. Nika Batman. Remember the video
Oh,
game
yeah,
version
yeah,
where
yeah.
he's those colors?
Those
They've
action figures
made
were
those
very
action figures of
expensive.
Jason as well, where he's
Oh,
got
okay.
the green and purple.
And
Those
then
are really good gets. In the action figure world, people go crazy for those
Yeah.
Nico figures.
Right, and in the 2016 game, they added that as a skin. So they have the NES Jason skin in that
Fucking
game.
hilarious.
See, now this is a game I do have hands-on experience with. It was
Talking 2016.
talking 2016 Friday the 13th, a Christmas gift from my folks.
Nice.
So
Nice.
obviously they're aware of my interests. It's it's a ton of fun, man. Like, have you guys had a chance to get your hands on this or just see gameplay? What's your experience with this one?
I've watched hours of gameplay of this. When it came out, I was so intrigued by it. I never got hands-on because it felt like you would want to play with friends, and I didn't have any friends who were going to get it.
Mike, it must have been 2017 because I think we were working together when this game came out because we were
Maybe, yeah.
actively awaiting the response. I remember watching trailers together.
That's true. Yeah, we were stoked about it. So we won't say 2016 anymore. If we got it wrong, amend that in your mind retroactively.
Yeah.
We're just going to call it the new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I only have watched the gameplay, but it looks so dope because for the people who don't know, it's basically 7v1 multiplayer, right? One person is Jason, the other 7 players are counselors just trying to get the materials they
Evade.
need to evade and escape, right?
And while there are single player modes to kind of teach you the mechanics of the game and how it works from both sides, it's primarily just an online map-based play game. It is PvP with the one map.
Yeah, and I know they originally had tried to kickstart it for, a while, and if they got enough money, they were going to do a Jason X map, but they didn't get enough money, but maybe down the road. It's been pretty popular streaming-wise. I think that's what helped it blow up, is it became a real big stream game for a while.
It is, having Colin, do you have any experience before I start to talk a little bit about what it's like?
I do, and I definitely wanted to bring up the crowdsourced nature to it. I think
Yeah.
that's very interesting of it. And of the complaint department for it, and I do not have hands-on experience, just gameplay like Mike said.
Yeah.
And talking about the friendship part, from what I understand is the matchmaking is not perfect.
The issue with the matchmaking, I own this game. I've played this game a handful of times. Have not put as much time into it as I'd like because of the matchmaking aspect. It is very frustrating. There are people who they say they only like to play the game as Jason. If they get in the game and they are not Jason, they leave.
Oh,
which
that's
is
terrible.
very frustrating for all the other
You've
parties
wasted
involved.
15 minutes at that point.
Yeah, it's not jumping into a match right away. Unfortunately, that is the biggest deterrent of the game, which came out at $40 originally. It was
Okay.
not a full $60 game. It was really, I think most of their sales came through downloads. I did get a physical disc because, like I said, it was a gift.
Yeah. I didn't even know they did physical presses of it, actually. I
Yeah.
thought it was digital only.
Oh, no, I have it. And,
That's awesome.
It came with a download code because one of the other cool things about it is all the skins. You do have different looks for Jason throughout the ages. I mean, you can be them all, basically.
And each one has a different power set. So, like, the consoles will close a door. A certain Jason may be able to bang through doors
Can't get
faster.
through doors.
Like, have a faster door breaking stat, but a lower strength stat or whatever. So, they all have kind of different stats there.
And the core abilities are basically the same,
Yeah.
which do include
Teleportation.
a canon explanation for the travel. It is teleportation. You select where you want to be on the map and you go there.
But the way it's portrayed in this video game, and we're watching it right now with the red highlight and stuff, but the way the camera moves from the point of view, it's Sam Raimi. I mean, this is Evil
Exactly.
Dead. You're
It is
becoming
a
the
fly
spirit
through
in
the
the
camera.
woods.
It is
yeah,
very cool.
That's very cool.
the 2x4 cam, yeah.
And one of the
Yes.
most exciting aspects of playing as Jason, in my opinion, is the traveling, because you're like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get him. Like, when that camera is floating, you're giddy with excitement to wreck these counselors. I will say hands-on experience, and I think this is a little controversial for people who do like the game and people who watch the gameplay. I do not like being Jason.
Really?
It is not
That's a hot take.
fun, in my opinion, because if you are not like great at it, they're just gonna run away from you.
And they're going to get the spark plugs, start the car.
Yeah, and it just feels like, when you were a kid, did you like to be it in tag?
Yeah. Let me ask you, Left 4 Dead, humans or zombies for you?
See, I do like to play both
You
in
like
Left
to
4
hunt,
Dead.
yeah.
It is fun to hunt. And
A lot
I'm
more
not saying it's-
collaborative.
Yeah, that's a huge aspect of it because you don't have that. It's very singular as Jason.
Jason has nobody? That's what you're saying? He has no one in his life?
Lonely. It's very satisfying to get kills as
Oh, yeah.
Jason, but it is more satisfying to either kill Jason or escape as a counselor.
Damn.
Because you do not have to kill Jason to win the game. You can just escape or kill Jason.
Dude, I've watched videos where people are just underneath a bed the entire time. I think that's so
Oh,
fucking
man.
cool.
And playing that is a lot more fun to me than being Jason looking. I mean, it's like hide and seek. You want to be hiding or seeking?
Yeah, you want to be hiding.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool how they built it because it's like, okay, you can fix the phone and call the police, but then you have to wait for the police to show up and just,
And when they do that, it's so much easier to kill them because they're just waiting around.
yeah.
They're trying to fortify their position with weapons that are pretty damn hard to come by.
And it's Jason. They designed him to be the unstoppable force, so he's pretty durable.
yeah.
To-
Oh yeah, they're not gonna kill you. Like I've never played as Jason and been killed.
There's a
I've just
very
had them
specific
escape.
way that you have to kill Jason too, and they didn't tell you at launch. And I don't want to spoil it here, but
Yeah, no.
Ooh, I
it's not
love
worth
the
putting out there.
research mystery element of that. That's very
they didn't
cool.
tell anybody though. Yeah, there was a way to do it.
Yeah.
The internet figured it out. If you want to spoil it, look it up. But I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna
If I
say it.
had to
on
guess,
cast.
God, I hope it's getting him back in the lake like those movies.
Who
That's
knows, man?
awesome.
Gotta figure it out.
Definitely watch it out.
One thing too, when this came out, it was so popular that it was crashing the servers. So as an apology, they gave everybody the NES skin for free
Awesome.
and some other stuff. So
An apology for being so popular.
yeah,
Our bad. We didn't think you'd love it, but it is in my opinion one of the best horror game adaptations. I've only played one of those Alien games, and I was not too happy with it.
was it Isolation? Because I
No.
hear that one's quite good.
I
It was
love
not
Isolation.
Isolation.
Yeah.
It was one of the
Yeah.
ones before that.
Alien Predator Arcade.
Yeah.
Oh
that was
God!
So
With
good.
Machine Guns X Revolution.
So good.
But it's like when you're Jason, you feel like you're Jason.
I mean,
people are running from
He's walking
you.
around with a machete right now. I assume he always has that. We saw him walk up to the side of a log cabin, pull a knife out, and he started using that as his primary.
Oh yeah, and you
weapon,
can pick
too.
up. I mean, you can pick up anything and use it. Like
So
it is.
cool.
It's pretty well designed.
And
you can stomp through beds. You can rip open doors, and it all stays that way. Like one thing I like to do is go around and just crack all the windows. It's spooky, like
good
if you're
setup. Very
if you're
smart,
running
Joe.
away from him,
crack the windows. They recreated the sleeping bag kill in this game too. And this is Kane Hodder reprising his role as Jason for all the mocap.
Wow, I did not know that. That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah,
And-
I really cannot recommend this game enough.
Yeah, it's awesome. All the kills were done with motion capture. They didn't 3D animate them. They made him actually build a fake door with the tennis balls on, the little ping pong balls. They did
smashing
all mocap. He said, we need to get stuntman instead of mocap actors because I really want to throw them around. So all the kills, Kane Hodder had a big role in kind of helping design. Tom Savini as well was a consultant on like how much gore should come out and stuff. So they really tried to get as much of the original team back together.
And the graphics are pretty solid, man. They are
I mean,
they are
it
fun to
came out
watch.
last year, guys, for Xbox,
Yeah.
for Steam. It looks great.
And all the counselors are based on fan favorite counselors.
Tommy Jarvis is in
Yeah,
the game.
you're going to see
Tommy.
them. And they each have their own skill set. Like if you want to be someone who's really good at fixing up the car, but maybe not fast, or someone who's strong and can box Jason for a second.
Buy some time, yeah.
Yeah, there are aspects to each of them that are different, and that changes up the gameplay a lot.
It's a little bit like Resident Evil Outbreak, where each player you could choose had different, like I can hide better, I can open locks better, I can do technology
Yeah,
better.
they
This is
all
like
have their
that.
own,
Guys,
their own perks.
this has not happened to me in a while. I'm not a guy who watches Twitch streams, who understands the concept of watching other gamers. I am fucking sucked into this game. I think I just got my night figured out. This is like watching
Yeah.
a movie. It's like watching a cool
It is
new
really
Friday the
satisfying.
13th.
And by the way, the stream we're watching is Jason Voorhees playing the game.
Yeah, he is.
So he is in the
full
hockey
Jason
mask.
Voorhees.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
that's why he's not bothering anybody right now. He's found a new love.
He's too
Oh,
busy.
what a good outlet, Mike. You're
Mom
right.
let him play video games. You kill people in Grand Theft Auto, Jason.
This is the next movie. It's just him sitting on Twitch playing the game.
Yes.
Can I go back with my history real quick?
Absolutely.
So the NES one, a rental of the Super Nintendo Nightmare on Elm Street was a staple in my house.
Really?
That was a side scroller with kind of chunkier graphics. I don't know if you guys ever played
seen
like
this, yeah.
but something like the Dennis the Menace game as kids, or
Oh, I
maybe
do
even
remember
like
that,
the
yeah.
pan or
Big
the hook.
sprites.
Exactly, yeah, where you had like big heads and stuff. You played as the primary girl in that first one, and I remember thinking like, cool, this is an anchor. I know this character. You're running around. You're doing these things. I like all of this a lot. So when I rented this, the Friday the 13th NES 1989 game,
Yeah.
and you're playing the multiple characters, and it's jumping around a lot, and it almost kind of looks like Pitfall in my mind.
It does
like,
look bad.
I did not like this game at all.
It's marginally better than Pitfall.
Yeah, like just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then as far as the future, other than this dope ass game we're talking about right now, Friday the 13th, the game, they are still using this IP a lot. Upcoming on phones and the Switch this year, Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle is just a puzzler game. Small little environments where you're just playing people running away, surviving from Jason. $20 price point for a mobile game on the Switch. I don't know about that.
That is hefty, man.
Yeah,
I've
you're
always
paying
had-
for the name there.
I've always had an issue with Nintendo's digital distribution. Like
The eShop.
eShop,
Terrible.
the
Yeah.
interface is terrible, the prices are terrible. Like,
Add funds for $19.89, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
just let me pay with my credit card. Why am I adding
Everyone-
small amounts?
Well, and if you're going to add amounts, why can't you add the exact amount
Yeah.
you want and not just enough to make it so you have to add double to get
Yeah,
the one
exactly.
game?
it's like, let me buy my Clash of Clans tokens. I can get 250 for $9.99. Like, just let me pay $9.99 for the game with my card. That's too much. And is it relevant, or are they just milking the Friday the 13th
I
name?
cannot imagine that it means anything
This
to
game
the property. This is the
makes
property.
it relevant,
Yeah.
and then they're just cash grabbing on everything else.
Also, it makes it relevant, and it's a passion piece. I mean, like, these guys kickstarted a video game for one of their favorite
hell
franchises.
yeah.
Like, that's huge.
and that's why they got Kane Hodder. That's why they got Tom Savini. That they got everybody's blessing on this, and so much attention to detail, and they knew that it would be the fans that kept it alive.
And that's why it's so satisfying to play on both sides. And I just got to say, like, if you're one of those people who's getting in matchmaking and quitting when you're the Jason, fuck you.
When you don't get to be Jason, yeah, come on.
Like, just be cool, man. Play the game.
A random note I want to bring up is like this game feels like it came out of kind of the emergent gameplay that you would see in like Halo 2 days when you have Juggernaut. You get to be the Juggernaut. Everyone's
hell
running
yes.
away from you now. So it's a whole game designed around Juggernaut mode, right?
Yeah. being the tank in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and the controls are simple. I mean, it's a great POV. Like we said, the graphics are great. Guys, if you like this franchise or if you're just a video game fan, pick up this video game.
And definitely watch a video on the NES version. It's just one of those things like it's legendary.
Yeah.
Like it is legendary on the level of E.T. crashing the games industry legendary. And the fail state screen for the game, it's like, you are dead. Your friends are dead. Game over. Like it's like
I love it.
I thought this was Nintendo. Like we don't even have blood in our games.
Me, Jason.
It's a me. Your friends are dead. Nobody loves you. Life is a meaningless existence. We all fall into the abyss. Game over.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But any other Friday the 13th games that exist? I mean, I just want to recommend this one. I want to play it. Joe's the only one who played it, but I love watching it. It just seems so fun, at least when you get a cooperative group.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the matchmaking process.
That's the problem with
But
multiplayer games is you have to play with people.
The issue is I've heard groups of people who've even tried to do it together, and it's like a pain in the ass to even try to sync up that into one party.
Yeah, see, I haven't done
Right.
that at all. I've just played myself trying to jump in there.
Small publishers, that is the issue with the technical end of that stuff. Obviously, they're going to deliver a well-developed game, but the management of how it survives
The
after
server
it's released,
space.
yeah, that's always an issue. I don't
Jeez.
know. I'm excited. And obviously, it's doing well, so I think they'll probably end up doing more with this, whether it's DLC or maybe even a fucking sequel.
I believe it's just going to be DLC.
Gotcha.
I
That's
do
fine,
think they
though.
said that they were just going to build on the game, and that's why they were happy with
Dude,
it being
you got
at
me
a
there
lower
then.
price point.
Please,
That's
I'm in.
exactly what we talked about last week with Stephen King. Is like just have like a root game and then build out around
Chapters.
that. They have a dope core and then just add on to that.
Use the Telltale model to make better games.
I just can't wait for the Manhattan DLC.
Hell yeah.
Dude, give me Manhattan, Jason. Hell
Dude,
yeah,
if
brother.
you for real were on like a ferry boat the entire time for
Oh,
an episode and you could go up like
God.
multiple floors.
It'd be great.
Yeah,
I would
dude.
love it.
No, I want to walk. They can't have you on the boat. They got to put you in Times
It would
Square in
be
the diner.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, the punks would have to be there.
gotta be the
You would be
punks.
able to be a punk instead of a counselor,
Yes,
and the
yes.
diner guy. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
with the boombox too.
yeah.
Running around.
Come
Oh shit, he's
on.
got me.
You turn on the boombox to make Jason go over there as a distraction technique.
Which is literally, that's
We
in
just
the
saw
game.
that
That's
happen.
something you do.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's already built in
There
there.
are so many ways to do it. Yeah, I couldn't recommend this game any higher for horror fans, for slasher fans. You're just gonna love the nostalgia of like getting to do that yourself.
Especially if you're a Jason fan, but definitely temper your expectation. Remember, it's matchmaking, it's other people, and sometimes other people are horrible. Sometimes they're not, but just
Yeah.
be prepared.
And if not, at least you get to enjoy that opening level where you're learning how to do it yourself.
Yeah. And it's free to play? Or no, you said it was $40. So
It was $40 when it first came out. I'm sure if you go to GameStop or Steam store, it's
Yeah.
gotta be
Yeah,
cheaper
it's
now.
living on Steam though. Don't pay for Xbox Live to be playing this game.
Yeah.
Play it on your computer.
Yeah, so that's the game to check out, man. This new one. Hopefully, it'll have a lot in the future. But speaking about the future, why don't we just go ahead and hit the wrap up so we can move on with our futures? So we've talked all about the movies, the comics, the video games. We're going to hit our final thoughts here. But before I hear the last thing you have to say about Jason, I want to go back to this debate we were having. Freddy versus Jason versus Ash versus Leatherface versus Xenomorph. The best horror icon of all time. It's about to be Halloween. Who wins it for you guys?
who's your dog in the fight, right? I guess, I'll go.
Yeah, Mike, do you want to tell us?
I'm going to be... I like Jason a lot. We're saying the best of all time. That's different than your favorite. I'm going to be Team Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I am Team Leatherface. All right.
Hey, I'm a Dennis Hopper fan. I don't like those movies, but I like that he's in them. I like that you like those.
So does Team Leatherface give you the whole family, the whole shebang?
I mean, it's Leatherface, but like if you pick Jason, you're not also getting Pamela,
True.
right? But Leatherface within the franchise of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, including the Jessica Biel remake.
And specifically the Breakfast Club poster one is what you want.
Yeah. No, that's what I love. I guess that's it. Let me pitch it real quick and we'll go
sure,
around.
Tell us, baby.
I like those because, like I said, I like when the villains become the guys you root for. And by the second and third one, they just get so goofy and it's just
love
fun. And the villains are so over the top when in the first one the tone is so dark. So Leatherface, he covers everything from being super spooky to super fun and campy. And he's going to be my pick. The chainsaw is it's the best weapon in horror. It's better than Freddy's claw or the machete.
Oh, we heard it from Jeremy last week with Mandy. I've got to check that out. I'm excited to see some more chainsaw violence.
Yeah. All right.
If I had to go, Colin here, if I had to go and say my favorite, I'm going to limit it to the top 3, the original Kings. And what Mike just said is the most important. You have to be rooting for your villain. I mean, that's what this is, right? It's
that's why you like him.
Leads this franchise. When I was a kid, it was Freddy. You know, when I was a kid, he was the most fantastical. He did the most interesting things. He got the punchline in. He was funny. He made you laugh. Grown up now, I do not like saying the word bitch anymore.
You don't like Breaking Bad?
No. He's a pedophile. You know, I mean, it's like...
Right.
There's so little to hold on to.
Yeah, he's a
Robert Englund, incredible performance, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just that character. So then, you know, I would jump to the original. I would say, of course, the King of Halloween is Halloween. It's Michael Myers. It's John Carpenter. It's that cinematography. It's beautiful how it plays out. Another franchise that really loses its way with its lead. But I'm an adult. I like to have fun now. I like the standards. I like the past. I like the future that it encompasses. I like the spectrum of it all. I'm a Jason man.
All right. I mean, that's pretty strong, and especially on this episode.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there
This
you
was
go.
it for me. I love Friday the 13th. I love Jason.
His silhouette is just so striking.
He
too.
cuts it.
Like, he literally cuts it. Smashes, too.
Well, if chainsaws are the coolest, then you know Ash is the man.
Oh.
I mean, come
You're bringing
on.
him in.
He's got one for a hand.
Chainsaw battle.
That'll always be my favorite franchise because you could put Ash against any one of these guys and I'd be in and I'd have a hero to root for. You know, you guys talk about liking when the killer's the hero. I
like the hero.
I like to be the good guy. yeah, I root for heroes. So Ash is a hero in a horror universe who's also a little gruff around the edges and funny and gets the punchlines.
You don't have a lot of franchises built around the heroes of horror.
Yeah,
That's true.
And that's
You
what
really
you
don't.
get with Ash Williams, the king, baby, hail to the king.
Hail to the king, groovy.
And then in terms of like favorite villains, because I feel like that's kind of a cop out answer.
Hit me with these 3. What do you feel?
The franchise is called Halloween for a reason, man. In my opinion, Michael Myers is the king of Halloween. The movies make you root for the characters more than any of the other ones. And, you know, maybe we'll do an episode on this in the future and we can go into more detail there. But, like, you get a young Paul Rudd coming back to play the original kid from the first movie. That's cool, man.
Taking over the Dr. Loomis role.
Yeah, you're building those mythos. You get the same sort of like weird supernatural fantastical elements as you do with Jason, with Michael, and you get movies like Halloween H2O or Halloween Resurrection where you get fucking Busta Rhymes and a reality TV show before that was a real big thing. So for me, Michael Myers, John Carpenter, you got to give it up to Halloween.
The interesting thing about Halloween, Joe, is it's got the history there, doesn't it? You've got Jamie Lee Curtis, her mother, Janet Leigh, I mean, in Psycho. You know, it almost has a built-in history there.
It's a legacy film.
Yeah.
And while we're here, even though it's Friday the 13th episode, Halloween is tomorrow. Do we think it's going to be a hit or a shit, this reboot?
Oh, hit, baby.
Massive
hit.
hit.
I'm on hit.
Yeah.
And so we're both thinking Pet Cemetery and the Halloween are going to be
Absolutely.
hits. So we're on double hits for
Absolutely.
those.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're about to hit Halloween.
Tomorrow.
The future of Halloween and horror only looks brighter than ever. I cannot wait for some of the stuff we got coming out.
Absolutely. So let's jump back then. Get back to Crystal Lake.
Final thoughts.
We only got this
on
cabin for another
Jason.
3 hours.
Yeah, seriously. It's
I'm
it's
surprised we haven't
hitting-
got attacked yet.
Yeah.
It's hitting 3 a.m.
Yeah.
We're gonna go skinny dipping, so we might as well,
Well, that
get
was
our
the plan.
final thoughts
Yeah.
before we take all these illegal
Mike's got this
drugs.
really cool
Yep.
pizza slice sleeping bag he's been in all night that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very
yeah.
jealous about.
Yeah.
It's really cozy. I like to sleep under the stars, so I think I'm going to pitch up by the tree.
All right.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if that's safe.
It's a
but
beautiful
okay.
night. Yeah.
Well, why don't we all just move outside then? We'll have a campfire. We got the lake right there. Do some illegal drugs.
Yeah, jazz cigarettes.
Before that, final thoughts. I'll go first. I said it before. He's my favorite out of the 3. I like Jason. You know, it's great. Let me pose this to you. Name a film franchise that has 12 parts.
Hunger Games? Oh, wait, not yet.
I mean,
Star
Star Wars,
Wars.
exactly. It's like congratulations to a cultural phenomenon that is Friday the 13th.
I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street, they have to be close, right?
It's not as many, but
Wow.
I'm sure it is up there.
I think those horror movies, like they kind of blew up and did, a ton. Even Saw had like 6 parts, not 12, but for me, Jason, super iconic. Like he, I think, embodies the most horror tropes that we still hold dear. Like even like Scream had, last girl, only the virgin survives, the teens, that is like so many horror tropes got created from Jason.
The language of slashers.
The language of slashers. That's a good way to put it, Joe. So the mask, everything, machete, the jumpsuit,
The man.
the man
The myth.
ish. Yeah.
Quick update with this current Halloween film that's about to come out. Both franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween, 8 films.
Both total. Okay. Well, yeah, nothing's had as much as Jason.
No.
Yeah.
Jason lives.
He sure does. Yeah, and we've had a killer month here with
nice.
Halloween episodes.
Great way to break it down,
Love
Joe.
delivering them for you guys. We hope you enjoyed them. We've seen a massive uptick in these last couple episodes. So please continue listening, continue leaving us reviews and ratings on iTunes. Those go a big way in helping our visibilities. We've loved these past 4 episodes. We're gonna celebrate with a little night out on the lake here.
Yeah, totally.
I'm
I got
excited.
the brewskis.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to take my top off.
Oh. Hey, guys, do you mind if I put my crossbow up against this tree?
Yeah, why not? It'll
sure.
be
Keep it
safe
here,
there
sure.
when we're skinny dipping.
I'm going to leave it loaded in case I see anything we need to...
Well, smart thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going
Gotta
to
be
stand
safe.
under this shed where this chainsaw's just hanging up.
Oh, remember, let's take out our
perfect.
cell phone batteries, though. No distractions.
Yeah, I'm just going to run those back to the house. I'll be right back.
All right, Normies. I don't know if we're ever going to see Joe again, but this has been Mike.
This is Colin. What was that? What? Mike?
Colin, hello?
Scared. Joe? Are you?
Happy Halloween, normies. 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 Normies.